Communication is key in any setting, and never more critical than in an emergency response situation. But when emergency responders from local, state, and federal agencies respond to an event, there are times when there is a gaping hole in their ability to communicate. That hole is due to incompatible radio communication systems and a lack of established methods to communicate within a common radio channel. Our emergency responders cannot always talk to each other during crisis situations.
Civilian reports from up here, a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center for your information.
This fatal flaw was evident in the 9/11 Twin Towers tragedy, when police got the word to evacuate before the second tower collapsed and firefighters did not. Over 300 firefighters died. Lack of effective radio communications was a significant factor. More recently and closer to home, a seemingly small incident. A fertilizer fire in a warehouse near Yakima ended up involving over 200 personnel and 38 agencies during the three-day event. The incident further emphasized the need for all emergency response organizations to be able to work together seamlessly. Communication is critical for major catastrophes and incidents that can and do happen in any community on any day. To help resolve this operational deficiency, the state legislature formed the State Interoperability Executive Committee, or SIEC, to bring together all levels of local, state, federal, and tribal governments.
The legislature established the SIEC to manage radio spectrum, but also it charged the SIEC with interfacing with other agencies at the local level and to primarily be the state face and interchange with the Federal Communications Commission.
Interoperability is defined as the ability of public safety agencies to talk to each other via radio communication systems, to exchange voice or data with each other, on demand and in real time, and for incident commanders to have operational control and to be able to communicate with all responders on site seamlessly.
Interoperability is extremely important because it leads to good decisions. If you don't have the information, if you don't have data, if you don't have facts or resources, you can't make good decisions.
We need to be able to function efficiently and quickly and as safely as possible. And the main goal of that is not only for the people and for the property, but also your workers.
The SIEC is charged with the responsibility for developing policies and making recommendations regarding existing systems and future technologies, coordinating technology purchases, and developing legislation to promote interoperability.
What does it cost you and your community when someone is injured or killed because you failed to make the appropriate decision? Public safety is the #1 goal of government. If you're in a policy position, if you're in a financial position, this has to be your #1 goal is public safety. And if you talk to any public safety professional or volunteer, they will tell you the #1 thing that helps them the most in the field is communications.
Beyond the state level, the SIEC has embraced a collaborative, methodical, ground-up approach to empower and assist emergency responders at the local level to develop interoperability strategies and standards with the goal of establishing statewide interoperability.
We're going about this through a process we call building a system of systems. We're trying to build on the infrastructure that is already in place. There's literally hundreds and thousands of dollars and millions of dollars of infrastructure that's in place. We're not wanting to throw that away or discard that. We're wanting to build on that and build a system that will work for everybody.
This approach is deemed to be more efficient, with an easier transition and lower cost. To facilitate this approach, the SIEC acts as an interoperability resource and funding information clearinghouse. It requires people from all levels of government and all jurisdictions to make interoperability successful.
You have to build a relationship with the organizations you're going to be working with, and it has to be a good working relationship.
All you have to do is have the willingness to sit down, say hi to your neighbor, what can we do to help each other? It doesn't have to cost you money. It might cost you a few minutes of your time, but it will save you hours and days down the road.
The Yakima Valley is a perfect example. You have a tribe, you have city jurisdictions, multiple cities, you have a county, you have the state jurisdiction, you have all of these entities who are living together, working together, and if you train together, you're being neighborly. And when a situation comes about and you have an emergency, you already know who your resources are.
Start with something simple, do what you can do, and then expand it out, train it, perfect it, and redo it.
About 80% of the challenge of interoperability is really about personal and professional relationships. The governance practices of various agencies, only 10 to 15% is really technical in nature.
By understanding the issues at hand and reaching out to other local, regional, state, tribal, and federal organizations, we can build the framework that will aid and protect the people in your community.
We have a great responsibility and a great mission locally and here in the state of Washington to take care of the citizens that put our systems in place.
To achieve interoperability, we've identified 7 steps that help to focus efforts and processes. First, talk. Get to know your neighbors. Then, work on an overview. Define interoperability for your region. What do you want to accomplish? How could you collaborate and cooperate? Identify funding needs and sources. Next, get communication protocols and incident command strategies in place, because you don't want everyone talking to everyone, or that creates another problem. You can develop regional protocols and adopt existing state and national protocols as appropriate. Then engage with your key stakeholders and sign agreements. Coordinate technology acquisition and implementation plans. Help your staffs learn your interoperability approach by providing training on protocols and technology. Schedule training exercises to test protocols and the technology. Assess feedback and make adjustments. Following these steps will get you ready. Together, we can achieve interoperability.
Success depends on everybody working together. As people hold back or are reluctant to participate, it subtracts from the success of the mission. As they participate, as they engage in the operation, it has a exponential effect in terms of increasing our chance of success.
If you can't talk to each other on a daily basis, you'll never get to interoperability. What you need to do is every single day, you need to have public safety personnel practicing interoperability to ensure that it works. If there's any failure anywhere in the system, it needs to be identified and dealt with immediately. You can't wait until a disaster.
As you work on your strategies to attain interoperability, you'll need to schedule exercises to test the feasibility of your plans and provide much needed training for your responders. Only then can you minimize chaos and ensure a smoother operation. And remember, this is an investment in public safety.
It just makes perfect public safety sense as well as financial sense to invest in interoperability up front.
Seamless communications is what lives depend upon.
Improving public safety radio communications will have a long-term impact on the health, safety, and well-being of every person, family, and business in Washington State. Interoperability, it saves lives. It takes all of us to achieve it. Let's talk.
To learn more about the SIEC and find detailed information on the State Interoperability Plan and other pertinent data, please visit the SIEC website at www.siec.wa.gov.